Hello out there. We're on the air. Arnie's going to show up. Oh, there he is. Wow. Welcome. Welcome to the show, Arnie. Welcome to Fat Zap Friday. Good to see everybody here. It is a pleasure to be with you this morning. So this one today is titled How to Stop Being a Normal Person. What? That's a stupid title. Or is it? It's going to be a good chat today. We're talking about opting out of the current system because the system cannot be fixed. It can only be replaced. There's no fixing it. No fixing it. It's like a house with a very, very bad foundation. The house could look as good as it is from the street, but there's no fixing that. You cannot fix a foundation. You have to blast the whole thing down and rebuild from the ashes. So speaking of from the ashes, we got a good guest on the show today. We got our guy, Daniel, and we're going to be talking about a couple different topics today with the sovereignty being the theme. So you know what we should take a second here and we should just appreciate the fact that everything's been working. Everything's been working here. And there was like 2 or 3 months where I would just go black or it would stop or my microphone would shut off or whatever it is, but things have been good. So we need to be thankful for that. So thank you to the technology gods up there for helping us out. So we'll wait a couple minutes here and we'll get Daniel on. I'll make sure I get the email set up here. I do have breaking news though to share with everybody here. And I got something special too up my sleeve. I don't know. We'll see if it seeps out or not today. We'll see how the conversation flows. But this is the last stream on YouTube. Other than the weekly ones that we're going to start doing. I don't know if we're going to do it next week. We might take the Tuesday off because it is Thanksgiving here on Monday. It's Thanksgiving here on Monday. And so I was planning to take that day off and spend it with my family. I got a busy October coming up and into November. So I'm going to do my best to be around. Obviously, I'm still going to do the daily videos and stuff, but I got something that's going to be starting up in probably mid-November to do with the Visionaries. But this is kind of our last day for Bitcoin Citadel week. We had Craig on, we had Alex on, and we had Noah on yesterday. And I don't usually get feedback from the shows here, but I've got a lot of good feedback about just the conversations, the discussion, obviously the guests that we had on. And it looks like we had a couple of people sign up yesterday for the Bitcoin Citadel School as well. So that's good. Good to see. And we're going to do something special for that today as well. So pay attention. I don't know when it'll come out, when it'll be leaked, but hopefully at some point today. Okay, so who's here? Who's who in the zoo? Killer's here. Hello and good morning. It is Friday today, so we have our Central University of Northern Toronto mug. And we got Arnie Boy here. You can't really see it. How's that? It's not a Friday unless we got this mug. I almost missed it too. I had my first coffee of the day with a different mug, and then I realized, hey, it's Friday. We need our CUNT, Central University of Northern Toronto mug. Samantha's here. Good morning, Samantha. 21 hats, Jake. Coffee time. Cypher says, happy Friday. I heard there's a Fat Zap party here today. What was that? You know the rules. There's no whining. 0. Oh, you can't even see him. He looked pretty spooked there, though. But there he is. There's the whiner. 0 tolerance for whining. 0. Wait, it should be the end of that. McHoddle is here. Let's get rolling. All right, let's get rolling. Abby Normal? Maestro's here. Stripes is here. Cedar Sat is here. Good morning, everybody. Been away for a week. Feels good to be back. Welcome. Our guy, Cedar Sat. And we'll see. We'll see what happens here in the next couple minutes. Cleaner Machine. Good morning. Heading to Rumble. Nice. Good morning, Ian. Kev's here. Happy Friday, Jor, Arnie, and Living in the Future fam. Now, the Visionaries fam. Ian, over on Rumble. Retro Beaver says, we're still early when people are laughing at you whenever you mention Bitcoin, stack sats, and stay humble legends. Good advice. VHF's here. Tommy D. Retro Beaver, VHF, Tommy D. Juan, make sure you guys get over to Rumble because this is the last stream today. I know I said that earlier in the week. I said that on Monday. But this is for real the last one because that was the last episode of the Daily Bitcoin Journey. This is the last morning stream on YouTube. And YouTube's been punishing me. I'm in the YouTube doghouse now heavily. But that's okay. That's okay. Life goes on without YouTube. Why no cedar trees in the thumbnail? That's a good question. It's a good question. I wasn't that specific, I guess, with my prompt. Mikkel, sup, you sat stacking sleuts and Arnie. I just finished my schooling for microelectronics and starting my new job on Monday. Thanks for the push, Jor. Now I can stack more sats. Legend. Mikkel is a legend among us. I did nothing, man. I just showed up here and talked. You're the one who took action and did it. So cheers, buddy. Cheers to you. Timber Crasher. Sound like I've missed out on so much. Been camping in North Carolina for a week. Yeah, you got a couple good episodes to catch up on. Some really good conversations. And we got another one today. Rolando Rod. Happy Bitcoining all. Duncan's here. Good morning, Duncan. I don't think Arnie likes me. You said my name and he starts whining. Let's try it again. Good morning, Cypher Sats. No, this is just a coincidence. Daniel's ready to go. All right. I'm going to send it to your email, Daniel. I'm going to send it to your email. I can't do it in Signal right now. I don't got Signal on here, but I should have your email. Sync My Music says, why are you leaving YouTube? Just found your channel. Well, the channel is going to be around. We're just going to do the daily streams elsewhere because YouTube really pissed me off. That's the main reason, honestly. And I believe in decentralization. And I feel like YouTube is a big part of the matrix. YouTube's very helpful. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on YouTube here. They just really pissed me off. And so, again, instead of complaining about it, instead of spending so much time bitching about it, I'm just going to leave. It's really as simple as that. Because my energy is not spent complaining about things. It's better spent doing something about it. So, I love Rumble. I think Rumble's actually a better platform than YouTube. Honest to God, I think that YouTube's discovery is much better, but from a viewer's perspective, Rumble's better. Tell me one thing that YouTube can do that Rumble can't. I can tell you a lot of things that Rumble can do that YouTube can't. Number one, you can put whatever you want in the chat. There's no censoring. You know how many comments I've seen censored in YouTube? Because Jerry's stream every night, he shows every comment on the screen. I try to, but Jerry does. But he'll put comments up, like half them I can't even see. They're censored in YouTube. You can share links on Rumble. You're going to be able to interact with Bitcoin on Rumble right away. You can use picture-in-picture, so you don't have to pay $10 a month to do other things on your phone while you're watching. It's a better platform. It really is. It's not perfect. It's far from that, and their discovery is shit. But it's a better platform. Bit Billy, good to see you, man. Happy Friday. Paulo, look at this. Look at this crew today. Everybody's showing up to see Daniel. Daniel, I just sent it to coach@yourname.org. Is the Maple Bitcoin Trio real life friends? Love the Maple podcast, by the way. Keep it going. I'm tuning in all so far. Are we real life friends? No. We hate each other. We just show up. There's actually somebody behind my chair with a gun every show that says, speak. Well, we actually met online. We all, like, none of us knew each other. We just all kind of had different skill sets, different different focuses within Bitcoin, different specialties, I guess. And we just vibe really well. I hate using that word, but it's true. We're all in the same frequency. It was very easy. It's easy to have conversation. And I love talking to those guys. We spend hours talking with each other without it being on YouTube or anything like that. Like on Wednesday, we met for over 3 hours. We had a meeting, and I think we recorded like 25 minutes worth of video, and the rest we were just chatting, strategizing, and, you know, plotting. Mikkel says, George, since I've been gone, what's your stance on the spam war? We can talk about that here maybe right away. I see Daniel's here. Okay. So here we go. Here is Daniel. You'll probably recognize Daniel. Here he is right here. Daniel.
Hey, man.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, you too.
How you doing between meetings here?
Yeah, I got my morning's stacked up this morning.
Well, this is Daniel. You probably have seen him before. We've showcased his channel a couple times here, a couple hundred times probably. But Daniel had a YouTube channel fire up this year. We'll maybe get to your background in a couple seconds here, Daniel. But a couple things about Daniel from my perspective. He was the very first member of the Living in the Future community. Number one. Also had the pleasure of meeting Daniel in Vegas. We didn't just meet each other and shake hands. We actually shared sleeping quarters. Daniel rented us an Airbnb, and him and I stayed together in Vegas. So we had a couple late night chats, too many beers, but it was awesome. I don't know, like before Bitcoin, I don't think I would ever have flown somewhere by myself, met up with some guy I've never, met in real life before, and just stayed for 3 or 4 nights with you. So
that was an awesome apartment too.
It was beautiful. I mean, head to toe. I just wish the pool would have been working, but maybe next year we'll have it back in action. But yes, Daniel is also a member of the Bitcoin Citadel. So he was one of the first people I reached out to when I was thinking about what it could look like, what we could build. And so Daniel, maybe just start today with a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you're working on now, or what your plan is for the next year.
So I have been in IT for probably 30 years now, maybe more than that. I actually started out, it's so funny, I was a claims adjuster. I was, when you're young, you're trying to figure out what to do. And I was a claims adjuster when I got out of the Coast Guard, because I was in the Coast Guard for a while, right? Got out, what am I going to do? And I sat near the printer, and all these older people would come by and be like, Dan, I can't print, I gotta, no one knew how to, because Windows 95, remember that? It was just coming out. And I was like, okay, I'll help you. So I was doing my regular job, and I was helping everyone with all the IT stuff. And I said, you know what? I'd rather do the IT stuff than be a claims adjuster, And I told my company, I said, hey, this is what I want to do, because I knew they needed people. And they wouldn't do it for me. So I started taking classes on how to be a IT guy.
Like, right? On your own?
On my own. I just paid. I wanted them to pay for it, but I did it on my own. And I gave them my notice. And I literally signed up for a headhunting firm. The first job they offered me was to work for that company.
That you were working on?
That I wanted to do, like that they would let me do, And I was like, how crazy is that, So ever since then, I've been either in IT as a support person, networking, all that kind of stuff, or I did a lot of IT education. So I used to teach people how to do Cisco certifications and Microsoft certifications. And long story short, I always was the guy who would learn new technologies, right, and then teach them to other people. So that kind of gave me the mindset that I use now for really everything. Now I'm in technical sales, which is awesome, because I don't have long engagements with people, like trying to get stuff up and running for months or years at a time. I just do my demos. I try to turn on the charm, show people how it works, and then I'm done, right? And I've told you I'm retiring at the end of next year. So I have one more full year of work that I'm going to do with the company that I work for now. So maybe one of the things on the Bitcoin Citadel that I'll share, like Noah's going to share, her living on a Bitcoin standard, which was an awesome interview. How good was that yesterday?
So good.
The interviews you've had so far have been awesome. I want to do one on retiring, you know, and figuring out how to keep hold of your Bitcoin stack, but also, you know, have some kind of income, kind of like what Noah's doing now.
I was going to say it'd probably be a pretty similar strategy.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have to sell your Bitcoin.
Yeah, I don't want to have to sell any of it. But you know, I'm like you now though. I live on a Bitcoin standard, not like Noah does. I mean, that's another level up for me.
Yeah.
I want to figure that stuff out. But I basically put all my paycheck into Strike. You know, that's just what I do. And then
like direct deposit.
Anything I don't spend is stacked, right? And I don't know how you were, Jor, but before Bitcoin, I would just buy stuff. I can't even I can't even understand what a fool I was back in those days, you know? Now it's like I won't buy anything, you know? It's like unless I really need it, you know what I mean? So that's one of the things Bitcoin has taught me is that I guess it's really the low time preference, right? When you're in a fiat world, high time preference makes sense, you know? But when you flip your mind to a Bitcoin standard, that low time preference, being frugal, being a minimalist, you know, that really does turn on.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that, you know, I've really noticed in the last little while is that Bitcoin really teaches you to save.
Yeah.
It teaches you to save. And until you can, you know, until you actually have some money to save, it doesn't really make sense. There's a lot of people out there who have their job and then they have their expenses, and their expenses usually exceeds their income that they make every month just because of, you know, the lifestyle they've gotten used to, which has got, you know, increasingly more expensive through the last 5 years. And so they're falling a little bit behind, I think there. So before I think anybody can really get to Bitcoin, they have to have some money that they can save first. Because I mean, that's the whole thing. And if you look at anybody in that kind of living arrangement right now, I guarantee that there's a big portion of their expenses that they could cut out tomorrow with just a little bit of discipline. But then, you know, because before Bitcoin, you didn't really have anything to put it in. It's not like you could have $100 left over after your paycheck and put that into real estate or something like that. Like there was no in between there, but now you can take $5 and buy Bitcoin with it. So I think that the average person will slowly figure that. We're starting to see that a little bit now.
Yeah. And for me, I never cared about finance. I was born in the early 60s. So for me, the whole finance thing was like not cool. But now that I'm a Bitcoiner, now that I understand money more, you know, it really is, it's different for me. And I'm like now I'm looking at like Mark Moss videos and how to have a rich person's mindset. You know what I mean? Of really, Bitcoin is the best asset, right? But how can you, especially folks who want to really stack, you know, like Noah, she's borrowing, you know, getting credit cards, getting cash advances on the credit card, or her LLC. LLCs are awesome, by the way, for that, you know, and putting that into Bitcoin in a very careful and measured way. And that's the thing, right? You have to stay on top of it.
Yep.
And that's her job now. And that's awesome. When I retire, that'll be my job too.
It's discipline. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is.
And that's the one, you know, I've been paying attention to a lot of different people lately. I've been trying to prepare for the Visionaries community and the channel. And that seems to be the one theme, is that it's all about discipline. And until you can get into that mindset, until you can stay disciplined, you're just going to stay a slave forever, essentially, to yourself and to society.
Well, if you want to be a sovereign, there's no one cracking the whip on you anymore, right? You have to crack the whip on yourself and enjoy it. You know, you don't want to make yourself suffer. But when you have this low time preference of Bitcoin and you have the hope that Bitcoin gives you for the future, it makes discipline, at least for me, right, much easier. It's almost like it's exciting. You know, it's like if you're a sovereign, you're the king, right? Or the queen. You're in charge. And that's a really different mindset for a lot of people, you know, because you're not counting on somebody else to bail you out. You know, you're not counting on someone else to tell you what to do and direct you. And that's pretty heady stuff for people who have their whole lives have really lived in that system, you know, at least for me, you know.
100%. So I wanted to kind of the conversation today that I wanted to have. Daniel and I didn't really talk about it. I figured we would just come on here and start talking about something. But the title of the show
today, years though, it's like those late night Vegas conversations.
Exactly. Just on the internet though. So the title of this one is How to Stop Being a Normal Person. And it was actually inspired by a video that I wanted to share here from a guy who has some haters and some lovers, but he's definitely grown on me lately. More so his message and his mindset overall, I think, is admirable in my eyes. So I want to bring this up, Daniel. We can watch it and then we can discuss. I got a couple different topics within this sovereignty because, again, this week's focus is really trying to shine a light on the Bitcoin Citadel and how we can help people who are ready for it. And part of what Daniel wants to do is teach people to become more sovereign in their mindset, in their computing, in their daily life using Bitcoin, but also tying a few other things together there. So that's kind of going to be the theme today, is becoming a more sovereign individual. And you might recognize this guy. So let's watch this.
Less and less as each day goes on because there's more and more degrees. And you're paying more to get one. And they're replacing you with third world migrants for the stupid jobs that the AI can't do. Anything important will be done by them. You can't afford a house. You can only rent one. The rent's going up. Inflation's out of control. We all know your money's worth less and less. You're not getting any kind of pay rise in line with inflation. The cities you live in are more dangerous than ever before. Crime's out of control. Even simple things. There's more trash. There's more traffic. Absolutely everything is getting measurably worse. And the only way any of this gets better for you is if you escape this system. They're not going to fix the system for everybody. The common man is going to be eternally, endlessly wrecked. It's going to get worse and worse for the normal man forever. It's never going to get better. It's never going to stabilize. It's only going to get worse. So your plan has to be how to stop being a normal man. The normal income, the normal life, the normal house, the normal job, the normal city. Normal is gone. There's no more normal. There is only poverty. There is only impoverished slaves. And your chance to not live as an impoverished slave is to not be a normal person. It is exceptional or slave. Middle class is gone. Normal everyday life of the law-abiding citizen is gone. It is all gone. The burden of performance is larger than ever before because you can no longer simply just do okay. You have to do great. You have to do amazingly. You have to do better than anyone else you've ever known has done. You have to do better than you ever thought you would do. You have to do better than your entire family has ever done. You have to be the most successful member of your family ever just to have a life where you're not stabbed to death on the bus, or you're not attacked on a subway, or you don't end up sitting there wondering how you can pay your bills because your money is worth less than ever before. Your only chance is exceptionalism. Millionaire is not aspirational. Millionaire is the bare minimum acceptable standard to live a life of prosperity, to live a happy, nice, safe, comfortable life. You need to be a millionaire minimum. And if you understand all of this and you still lack motivation, then you deserve to stay a slave.
That guy needs to have Bitcoin in his life.
He does.
Because here's the thing. Everything he said is true, but when you have Bitcoin in your life, it becomes possible, and you don't have to be angry like he is, and you don't have to be, so vehement. So that's what we have that he hasn't discovered yet.
He's a Bitcoiner.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He made a video a couple weeks ago talking about money, and he mentioned Bitcoin, or how he said he had thousands of Bitcoin.
Wow.
That was when he got arrested. That's what they were trying to get from him, was his private keys. And he told them to give him the 2 middle fingers.
Well, that's good for him.
Which is pretty powerful. Like when a country locks you up and throws you in jail and they can't take your most precious asset still, that's pretty powerful.
Well, and that's what I love about 21 Sats. And I just talked to Craig today. I'm almost through. I'm going to be, I guess you and Craig are the first two advisors, but I'm going to be one of those advisors. I'm
Nice.
actually going to put a course together like those old Microsoft courses I used to teach, with lectures and labs and the whole deal in it to make it scale better. But that protocol, is so Craig has done so much work on it. It's so detailed and so awesome. And if you have that, there's no way anyone could ever get your keys from you. You know, I'd rather sit in prison myself and let my heirs have that. Or when I get out, I get it. And it's just gone up since I went into prison. You know, I'd rather do that myself.
That's so funny. I think about that all the time. I don't know why. Like, I have no plans on going to prison. Like, I don't plan on doing anything that would put me into prison. But again, laws are changing every day, or I shouldn't say the laws are, but the rules are changing every day. It seems like becoming more and more targeted toward the sovereign individual. But anyways, I think about that all the time. It's like, I would rather spend, like, what's the worst? What are they going to throw me in jail for 6 months for what?
Yeah.
Or for life? They can't take the Bitcoin. And that, again, like you said, is for the family or for when I get out. I would much rather spend some time in a prison cell than give away my Bitcoin.
Yeah. It doesn't scare me anymore. So, and I think that things are going to heat up before they cool off. You know,
yeah.
I mean? There's some things in Canada and the United States and Europe that are just draconian. I think that if you can just weather the storm, you know, Canada is probably not even going to be around in a year. It's going to be completely different than it is now. So these things they're threatening to do now. Just weather the storm, just like people who never got vaccinated.
Yes.
You know? Just weather the storm. And if you have your Bitcoin self-custody and your inheritance, you know, set up properly, you can weather the storm. Maybe not with a smile on your face if you're in prison, right? But knowing that, you know, no one is going to take that away from you, you know?
It's so true. It's so true. And we've never had anything like that before. If they threw you in prison, they could take everything that belonged to you. Everything.
Yep.
They could go through your house, you know, unless you had gold buried in the mountains that only you knew the coordinates to. But other than that, like, there was no way to protect your assets against the state. And that's when Bitcoin was discovered or invented, or, you know, envisioned. That's what the idea there was to separate money from state.
Yeah.
So
and we're still in the hot zone here now. It's, you know, the separation is happening in front of us. Robin Sayer said it the other day. He goes, imagine the world, you know, even if you don't believe the world's been around for billions of years, you know, at least thousands of years that the world has been around, right? You know, and here we are in that little time when Bitcoin was invented and is now taking over the world. What an exciting time to be in.
Yeah, nobody even understands it either. Nobody understands what it is. Nobody understands how powerful it is. Nobody understands why it keeps going up. Nobody really understands anything about it. That's the opportunity for people watching the show today and who are taking Bitcoin seriously and their self-sovereignty seriously. Yeah. So in terms of that, Daniel, like, what would you tell somebody out there who sees a video like that and they have some Bitcoin maybe? Like, what do you think their next step is towards just becoming a little bit more, I guess, sovereign and away from the digital ID and away from the potential of getting your bank shut down? Like, what would you tell somebody in that situation?
I think you got to take it one step at a time. You got to crawl, walk, run. But for me, I don't. Do you ever watch Rob Braxman videos? He's a security guy on the internet.
No.
On my class, I'm going to share some because he really is he goes really in depth on things. But for me, I don't use a Mac or a PC anymore. I'm on Linux. It's not hard. As a matter of fact, one of my first sovereign computing classes, it probably most of it is going to be just free on the Bitcoin Citadel school, is how to move off of Windows and Mac and onto Linux, you know, what hardware to buy. And it's super cheap. You know, I'm talking to you on a 2015 MacBook Pro that's running Linux on it. You know what I mean?
Really?
I helped Noah when she said yesterday, she got that up and running. You know, she didn't need much help from me, but, you know, in the Living in the Future chat, you know, I helped her, I walked her through that. And, you know, there's some speed bumps to get it going, but now with Perplexity AI, right, with Linux Mint and Ubuntu Linux, really, you can run Linux as your daily driver. And the great part about it is I'm no longer locked into the Apple ecosystem or the Google ecosystem. And I can get my Start9 and I can, you know, store my own videos and my own photos, right? And all that stuff. So I'm no longer under surveillance all the time, right? I'm starting to become a sovereign individual. And every time you close those opportunities, you know, for the state to surveil you or for the corporations to surveil you, you know, people are going to be living in a digital panopticon. That dude was right. You know, normal people are screwed. They are. And I'm a big time weirdo, right? You've talked to me before, and I don't want to be normal. I've never wanted to be normal, right? And now I don't think I'm not a weirdo like one of these deviants who has blue hair and stuff like that.
I know what you mean.
I walk to the beat of my own drummer, and I try to live by the golden rule and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want people telling me what to do, and I want to have as much control as I can. And it's not out of the question. I think people think that, how do I get out of this, digital panopticon? Because I got a freaking iPhone, I got a Mac, or I got Android, and I got my PC, and every one of them is looking at you. And the new ones have AIs built into them that are taking a screenshot of your computer like every 5 seconds, right? They're really keeping an eye on you. Well, there are ways out. And one of them is just run an old computer with Linux. I drive an old car. My car doesn't have a computer in it, and all these things are doable. And I think for people who aspire to be more and more sovereign, those are options that you can use, And I think that's what I love about Bitcoin Citadel. It's not just about Bitcoin. It's about sovereignty and freedom as much as it is about Bitcoin.
I wonder if it'd be worth it to assemble some sort of a checklist for people becoming more sovereign, because one of the things that I struggle with a lot is I have these different projects or things that I want to work on, but it seems like such a mountain. Yeah. It seems like it would take me so long to get there. And then I just, paralysis essentially. Yeah. But if you could have something like becoming more sovereign as your task that you need to complete, and then break it down into like 30 different chunks, just one thing at a time. And that's kind of what you started this with, is just like small baby steps in the same direction. But I think it would just be very helpful for people to see that you can do this. You don't have to do it tomorrow or next week or even, next year, but you just kind of one thing at a time in your life. Start with Linux, go to a vehicle, and then close your bank account, and then switch from Twitter to this. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's just kind of one thing at a time. It's insurmountable when you're looking at it. But if you just have it broken down into steps, I think that'd be pretty helpful for people.
Yeah, the tools are there for sure. And what I love about a community like a school community, because I've been on a few of them, including the Maple Bitcoin school community, which is awesome, is people share ideas, right? So you can come up with, like, say I came up with a checklist. So you're the list guy, Jor, but say I came up with a list, right? And I said, these are the steps that I think you could go for sovereignty, right? It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Well, what are the bites I need to take? Somebody would come back to me and they would say, have you thought about this, Dan? Or this is a way you can do that, and that kind of collaboration, especially when you have, like, I love for example, on Maple Bitcoin School, Forrest is a trader, Rajat is the spreadsheet wizard, he's like the Gandalf of spreadsheets, you know what I mean? And they post videos that are just for that channel, and I watch them and I'm like, oh man, I didn't know that my cold card queue could do that, So I learn stuff all the time, and there's a whole bunch of really, really knowledgeable folks that are on that community, and I know we're going to have that in Bitcoin Citadel too, that share information. So it's not just the classes that we offer, it's also that like-minded people. You got to find your tribe, man. You got to find all the other non-normal people to know that you're not alone, and to know, what are the good ideas that people have and that they've implemented in their life to be more sovereign.
Yes. And that's so true. And I feel like we kind of live in an age now where you could have information, any information you want, you could have it in 5 seconds for free, anywhere, anything you want to know. But the problem is that you don't really know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
The information's out there. You just don't really, you need to know what you're looking for. And I think that having a community like that, like Bitcoin Citadel, like Maple, like the Visionaries community that's coming, I was listening to Napoleon Hill yesterday. I love listening to old classic, timeless advice like that.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things, that was his number 7 rule, I think, was to have a group of masterminds, because humans together are way more powerful than humans going at something by themselves. Way exponentially more powerful.
Yeah.
Especially in a community, centered around something like Bitcoin, where everybody's kind of on the same frequency there. You can cut through the bullshit and you can just start building, start asking, start creating things. It's powerful.
There's that concept, if you heard of the circle of 6, it's the 6 people that you spend the most time with, you know,
and you become the average of that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think one of the things, like, I live in the middle of nowhere in Vermont, right? And I'm actually one of my best buddies. He's my acupuncturist now. He just started to really get interested in Bitcoin, and I want to get people who are small business people, farmers, ranchers, people like that into Bitcoin. That's one of my side projects. But they're few and far between here. It's not like there's a ton of Bitcoiners in my own area. But the cool thing is now I know you in Manitoba. I know I think half the Bitcoiners I know are Canadians. But people from all over the world. And people in the Commonwealth countries, I think, especially. And maybe it's just because I have a bias for English because that's what I speak and those are the channels I watch. But the thumb is coming down so much that they're making Bitcoiners. It's almost like, diamonds are made from pressure and heat, and that pressure and heat from the government now in Commonwealth countries is so much that Bitcoiners are made from that kind of pressure and heat. You know what I mean? Because there's Canada fights way over its weight in Bitcoiners, for sure.
Yeah. And that's, we shared a video on the channel last week, I think it was, talking about how hard Bitcoin is. But I think that's the one common theme that all Bitcoiners have, is that everybody's kind of went through something.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about with diamonds and pressure. Everybody's had some sort of pressure pushed against them that caused them to have a little bit less faith in the system, a little less trust in the governments, the people that they thought they could trust. They turned their back on them. And that's how Bitcoiners ended up here. I have a theory that no Bitcoiners got here when they had a real easy life. Like, look at a millionaire or, somebody who's really successful right now. They don't give a shit about Bitcoin because they have everything that they need in their own mind anyways. They don't see a reason to look elsewhere. But Bitcoiners all have come from the same path of somebody lied to you, somebody turned their back on you, and you had to kind of fend for yourself. And that's what led you to Bitcoin, essentially. And everybody's gone through this. Everybody has the same scar.
Yep. Because I know people who are wealthy people, and some of them might even have a little bit of Bitcoin, right? But it's just an item in the portfolio. Yeah. They're not Bitcoiners.
Right.
Their financial advisor may have told them, you need to get some IBIT in the ETF. And they say, well, I have some Bitcoin, that's not a Bitcoiner. That's a normal person who has a little bit of exposure to Bitcoin, but you're absolutely right. It was, what's his name? He goes by Croesus or something like that on X. And he had a great chart of who Bitcoiners are. And it was like, don't trust, smart, don't trust, that's where Bitcoiners are. You know what I mean? And I think you can be a Bitcoiner. The cool part about it is you can be a Bitcoiner and not be a Series 7 trader and all that stuff. All you got to do is, get Bitcoin and learn how to hold it. That's all. I mean, you don't have to trade. You don't have to do anything else. You know what I mean?
It's true.
The 80 IQ pleb is a true deal. 80 IQ pleb here, Jedi here, all the normies in the middle. And you can do either one of those things and just hold your Bitcoin and you're fine. Right.
It's true. Yeah. You hear people like, I've said it a lot before myself, but like Jack Mallers and whoever, they say, all you got to do is spend less than you earn and store the rest in Bitcoin. But I feel like even that's kind of more complicated than what you just said there. Because when you think about it, there's probably not a person out there who couldn't come up with $500 to spend on Bitcoin, whether it's in a savings account, whether it's in an old snowmobile that they could part with, or, something. Every single person here, regardless of how much debt they're in either, everybody could get $500 worth of Bitcoin today and just protect it.
Yeah.
And then just keep doing whatever you're doing. You don't have to keep buying it every month. You would still be ahead of the average person in that sense.
Now you will start buying it every month, right?
You will, yes.
On the path. But I'm the king of now, I'm renting now. I'm selling stuff. We've had 2 contests. And I actually won both. I punted the ball down the field for the one in make the Bitcoin. I should have just taken the sack, but that's because I'm ruthless now. I have things that I really like, and unless it's an heirloom, you know what I mean? I'm like, I haven't been using that. I used to have a ton of disc golf discs because my son and I really got into it, and I was a fool, and I just spent a lot of money on them. I sold all of them, but what can fit in my bag, you know what I mean? And I got I stacked so many sats. Remember last year when we did it and sats were like 57.
Oh God.
Bitcoin is 57,000. We're like, oh my God, Bitcoin is so expensive. I stacked so many freaking sats back then just by selling stuff. So if you have stuff around that's somebody else is going to want, you got Facebook Marketplace, you got Craigslist, you got local ways to sell, you know, and people will buy that stuff. And you just say to yourself, every single item I sell, I'm going to flip it into sats or pay me in Bitcoin if people will do that and give them a huge discount. I don't even try to get what I think the value of it is, right? It's like, dude,
just anything,
just sell it, put it in Bitcoin, and you're going to have the value in a year. It's already doubled, my friend. You know, all those sats that I got for the stuff that I sold, and I sold them at really good prices. I sold a chainsaw. I posted it. I got someone who called me or you know, contacted me within like 5 minutes and like, dude, I want that chainsaw. And like 20 other people, I'm like, I already sold it. Because the price was such a good price. You know what I mean? Because I didn't care. I just wanted it to be sats, you know?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I feel like if you're normally just selling something on a marketplace, you take that cash and it's kind of depressing in the sense of you could sell like an old couch.
Yep.
And then you could take that $50 and you could go buy a case of beer and you're like, okay, that was a complete waste of my time.
Yeah.
Like I got nothing for this. But if you think about it from a different lens and you say, okay, I'm going to basically cut this, whatever it's worth in half or, you know, by 25%, because you know that you're putting into Bitcoin and you know that the Bitcoin is going to be worth exponentially more in a couple of years when you actually want to use it. So it's like, you can sell that thing fast. And I never even had that realization myself until now, because I've been kind of, you know, tripping on what I should list things for. If I get it or not, I want a fair price, but it's like, I don't even care.
I don't care about a fair price. I want to sell.
That's the thing, because it's going to be worth more by the time you want to spend it. But the other thing too, is you're actually getting these items out of your house, out of your mind.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just a huge asset in itself.
Yep. I say minimalists are natural Bitcoiners and Bitcoiners are natural minimalists. You know what I mean? Once you get it, and it takes a while. I wasn't like that when I first got into Bitcoin. You know what I mean? But it works on you. It's almost like, you know, the Grand Canyon. There was a little stream that was traveling through there, right? And over time, you know, it just wore that whole big thing in. So Bitcoin works on you in the same way, or like a stone in the ocean. You know, the waves work that thing over, and it's way different. You know, at the end, yeah, it's been really, 100%. It's been important for me anyway.
I want to show you this too, Daniel. This is something I came across this morning. It says, know your customer, crypto's quiet kill switch. So it's talking about basically, you know, everybody getting into Bitcoin now. First thing you do when you sign up for an exchange is put in your ID.
Yeah.
And kind of the argument here is that this is the real attack vector, in the sense that every time you use an exchange where you uploaded your photo ID, you uploaded a utility statement, that Bitcoin is going to be traced back to you forever.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of that goes against what Bitcoin was designed to be. So I just want to kind of get your thoughts on the KYC thing, and also maybe help people with a plan to kind of get a little bit of non-KYC, or talk about a couple different steps in that aspect without giving away too much info.
So KYC is the problem for me with KYC is, you know, people do have your address, right? Because you get to put it in there. So there's all kinds of potential vulnerabilities there. Some gang of ruffians who, you know, don't give a, you know what, can get your address and come to your house and say, I know that guy has Bitcoin. I got the records from the exchange, right? So that's an exposure. So just buying it from the exchange is an exposure as long as you live in the same address you lived in when you bought it. So that's a bummer, right?
Yeah.
And that's not KYCing the Bitcoin, that's KYCing yourself. So you've doxed yourself basically. Now the Bitcoin itself, I don't think Bitcoin is tainted if it was bought on an exchange as KYC, right? And there are ways to, once you like, I don't know if I want to talk about things on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
but there are ways, and if you join the Bitcoin Citadel School, there are ways to distance yourself from that KYC Bitcoin, right? That are totally legal, right? That are, you know, if there's a taxable event involved, you can pay the taxes on it. I'm not advocating anything that's not that's going to break the law, right? But there are ways to distance yourself from that. Now, that's not going to alter the fact that my name was KYC'd when I bought that Bitcoin. And if it's a large enough purchase, you got a target on your back. So you got to deal with that. And there are ways to deal with that too, I'm sure. For non-KYC Bitcoin, that's really what you want, right? So take tips in Bitcoin, because even when I sold my stuff, hardly anyone bought anything in Bitcoin. I'm like, Vermont, no one has Bitcoin, right? But if you can get people to pay in Bitcoin, like if I sold a great couch, like a leather couch, it's a $3,000 couch, and I'm like, I don't even need that thing anymore. And I sold it for like $1,000, and I said, if you pay in Bitcoin, I'll sell it to you for $750. I bet somebody would actually go out, buy Bitcoin, get a speed wallet up and running. And I could even say, hey, I'll help you to do that thing, and they pay you in Bitcoin because it's such a discount. You know what I mean? So those are the ways to do it, is get people to pay you in Bitcoin. Find ways of getting Bitcoin that's not attached to your name and your address, right? Just like our school community, there's not going to be any names and addresses attached with that, we even encourage people to just use a NIM when they sign in for school, right? Because we don't want to have that. We want to limit that kind of exposure and that kind of liability for people when they work with us, right?
Yep.
I think that KYC is going away because the only reason you need KYC is because the current system is a +60 or +30 system. You pay for it and the things don't clear for a month or 2 months, right? With credit cards, with anything, right? And the reason they want to know all that information about you, they say it's to protect us from terrorists and from drug dealers, but it's really, they want to be able to make sure they have their thumb on you, until the transaction goes through and they know where you are, right? And once that is solved by Bitcoin, because no one cares about that anymore, it's instant settlement, right? I think KYC is going to fall away. I think people aren't going to stand for it anymore, right? There's going to be two societies, Jor. Everything that's worth buying and worth selling, is going to be only available in Bitcoin. Like Soap Miner Soap. It's the best soap ever. This is an unsolicited advertisement. That's just a dude in New Hampshire that makes soap. And I've used tallow soap before. His is so good, right? He only will sell it for Bitcoin. That's going to be common. I mean, it's very uncommon now, but goods and services will only be available for Bitcoin. They will not be available for fiat trash tokens, right? And that's coming down the pike. And that's good for the people who are listening to us now, because we'll have the chips we need to sit at the table, right?
Yes.
But that said, there are ways to distance yourself from that KYC, right? So that the chain is broken, that are legal. I don't want to talk about them on YouTube, but there are ways, and there are ways to get Bitcoin that's non-KYC. And you have to, just like Noah, she has her spreadsheets so she can live the life she wants to live. You have to do some of that on the back end with the way you have your setup configured in order to make sure that you don't cross the streams and that everything is, the way you want it, right? The disorganized person cannot live that way, right? It's not going to be possible. Like a normal person who just wants to coast through life, you get non-KYC sats and they're going to be mixed in and it's going to be useless, right? So there are ways to do it for sure.
I mean, there's huge personal responsibility, I think, from head to toe in this whole thing.
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of just, nobody's going to force Bitcoin on you. You kind of have to come to it on your own terms, on your own time. You're gonna have to figure out the best way to do it. You're gonna have to figure out the best way to store it. There's nobody in school that's going to teach you. There's nobody at your employers that's going to teach you how to do this stuff. You got to go through the whole thing on your own, but it doesn't even end there. It's tracking the whole thing yourself, and you don't have to become a crazy person with it. Like, it's the same kind of thing. Just start doing things a step in the right direction. And that could be as simple as using Sparrow instead of, just a normal Exodus wallet on your phone or something like that. So you can actually track your UTXOs. You can track your KYC Bitcoin, your non-KYC Bitcoin. That's up to you. You have to do that as part of the personal responsibility attached to Bitcoin. Nobody's going to do it for you.
And I always like to say, my wife gives me a hard time because I'm one of those people who, if there's a crosswalk, I'll always walk in the crosswalk. And she teases me about it mercilessly. And I say, I do certain things in a certain way, not because I have to do them that way every time. It's because if I do them that way, it reduces my risk profile. And if I always do them that way, I program my mind to do them that way. And I don't even have to think about it, right? I just do it that way, even though it's more effort, right? Even though it seems dumb, it just programs me. And Bitcoin is the same way. you set up your systems and you always go by the system. In the Linux world, every time you download an application from the internet, right? You check the SHA hash, you check to make sure it's from the right source. There's ways to validate, and you validate every single time. You don't just say, hey, I'm going to rush this time. I'm not going to validate this time, because you could corrupt your entire computer, right? With all the other stuff you have on it, right? So that's kind of the way. I don't want it to seem like I'm a fuddy-duddy. You know me, I'm not like that. But I do have, I like to take a systems approach, and it's like, if you can get your mind, because I don't want to think about that stuff. I want to get my system down, and I always do it, I always try to do it the right way. You know what I mean?
It's
and that
discipline.
makes it easier for a sovereign. It's exactly that. Discipline. And building up those muscles for discipline as a sovereign or an aspiring sovereign, super important. Super important.
It's so true. And it's one of those things that how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
And I've really tried to, I have I don't know if you can see it here. Yeah, you can see it right here. There's a little whiteboard right down here.
Yep.
And it just says, be addicted to discipline. And I had that there for a couple months, and I would walk past it every day, because I have to look at it as I go out the door here, right? It's facing that way. So for the first couple of months, I'd see it and it wouldn't even really, it was just kind of there. But I've really noticed in the last month that it's kind of started to ingrain into my brain.
Yeah.
And it's good, because like even something like that, where I'll maybe, I'm in a rush or something, I need to do something. So instead of doing what I need to do, even if it's going to take me 10 seconds, I just say, I'll do it after. Yeah. But that shit adds up.
Yeah.
And then it compounds into this huge ball of shit that you're carrying around. Right?
Is the word for it. Yep.
So with discipline and doing even just such small things like that and compounding that, it just frees you.
Yeah. I came into Bitcoin through health. I was in a health coaching program, and one of the guys I met, I told you the story, we found Bitcoin together, right? And health is the same way. Like, yes. My discipline is I try to get up every morning and I can see the sunrise right out in my backyard. And I try to get out there every single day. It doesn't happen every day, right? But most days, almost every day it does. And I get out there, I'm in bare feet, I'm doing my thing. I have a little routine, an exercise routine I do. And that is like, I'm 64 and I don't take any prescription medications. I don't do any supplements really, right? Because the way that I've arranged my life, and I've done this for years, that compounding has happened for me, right? I turn my Wi-Fi off every night. I turn my phone off and I don't have it next to my bed. All these little disciplined steps that are tiny little things, right? But I try to do them every single time. And some nights, I had a friend of mine over the other night and we drank bourbon and smoked cigars and we did, and I forgot to turn the Wi-Fi off. No big deal. I do it almost every night. I didn't get up to the sunrise, I'm not gonna lie, But, those kinds of things compounding for the positive, you might not even notice the effect of it in a month, right? But look back a year later, right? And you're like, oh my goodness, that has had a huge effect on my life. And I think that as Bitcoiners with low time preference, that discipline and those small things, we're much more able to take advantage of that than people who have a high time preference and are still caught up in the fiat mindset, And that's what I think. People can break free. There's no question about it, right? Especially if you have a community of like-minded individuals that are surrounding you, right? Because that way you get that validation and you can hear about good ideas. I mean, I don't know about you, Jor, but I watch a lot of Bitcoin content and other things that are interesting to me, right? But now I don't just watch things and say, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. I implement them. I love to fuck around and find out meme. Can I say that on your channel? Yeah, right?
I say fuck 30 times a show. You know that.
I know that. Yeah. But that's a Bitcoiner mindset, right? Is you try things. You got a show the other day is we can just try things, or maybe that Nolan had it, right? But that's a Bitcoin meme. We have the luxury, because we have Bitcoin in our lives and because we're disciplined and because we have a low time preference, to try things and see if they work for us, right? And I think Bitcoin to me is not the end of the journey. It's just a tool that's helped us, because the real journey, to me anyway, is the freedom part. You know, I'm a freedom maximalist, and I almost, you know, I don't know enough about Bitcoin to have a real opinion on the knots versus core debate, for example. Personally, my biases and my personality, I like the knots team better. And I like, you know, if you got core, you know, 29 and you're just not going to update to 30, you're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
No problem with that, right? Let the geeks, and I've heard good arguments that the core team, you know, for their position. I've actually heard some that I'm like, wow, you know, that's kind of cool. But I just think that they almost have like a fiat mindset. The core devs is like, you know, the way that they've presented themselves to me has been off-putting, right? And I happen to be running knots because, as you know, I'm a geek. I want to get a Fedimint up and running and all that kind of stuff. So I moved to knots a long time ago, not because of this whole debate, just because it was the only way that I could, you know, as a mad scientist, try out some of the things that I wanted to try out, you know. But
yeah, that releases today, eh?
Yeah, and I think they're going to see a very, very small number of people that.
So do I.
Yeah,
me too. And there's reasons for that too. Number one, it's because I don't think any nodes would be set up to automatically update. I think that would be a setting that you would have to go in and manually configure yourself. Yep. And if you know enough to do that, you're probably not going to use automatic updates. It just doesn't even make sense to do that in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's something where everything moves very slow.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like the traditional tech world and the system that we're used to. Everything is supposed to be slow on purpose. So I think that we probably won't see the real results of this election, as I call it, for a few months, just because of that. Like, nobody's going to go out and rush to update 30. There's no special features in this one that everybody's excited about. So I think the core 30 numbers are going to be very
people
low.
that rush today, little Tylenol poppers, and I got to get on core 30 today.
But it's
you know, even if I was going to update, I wouldn't do it day one anyway.
That's what I mean.
Sparrow updates that are queued up that I haven't put into effect. I got to be convinced that it's going to make my life better for me to update anything, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the fiat world, I have I still have a Mac and an iPhone. I have them update automatically, you know, because there's a lot of stuff going on there, and I'm trying to wean myself away from that system anyway. But for my sovereign systems, no, I don't, you know, everything has to be vetted, everything has to be validated, and then the update. And I never do it right away.
No.
I got to jump, man. I have a meeting at 11 and I have to prep for it.
Okay.
This was an awesome call though.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So Daniel, before you drop off here, speaking of people out here who are considering joining the Bitcoin Citadel community, who might be looking for help to become a little bit more sovereign, what would you tell them if somebody was going to set up like a 15, 30 hour call with you? Because I know you've been talking to some people in the last couple of months, been helping a lot of people with it. Who's like your kind of target audience, and maybe who isn't at the same time?
If you're a boomer who wants to talk about, because I've been there, I've done the whole thing, right? Boomers, if you're not getting your stack now, because you have the opportunity to actually stack a significant amount of Bitcoin right now, right? You should look at our Calendly. You can get set up a 30-minute value for value meeting with me. You should just book time with me just to talk about it. You know, if you're, you know, we have a lot of folks on the Bitcoin Citadel team that can help with hardware wallets and things of that nature, right? Just go to the Citadel and pick somebody for that, right? I do that too. That's if you want to have someone who's been there, done that, you know, got the t-shirt to help you blaze your trail, because you're like, man, I almost feel like I'm too late for Bitcoin. You're not too late, but you got to start taking steps now. You know what I mean? And I would say, we talked about KYC a little earlier. Some people are privacy maximalists, is what I call them, right? And they don't get Bitcoin because they're so worried about their privacy and the $5 wrench attack and all these other kind of things. Don't let that stop you from doing it, right? Even if you have Bitcoin in an ETF, or, you know, my brother's a pilot, he just retired and he's considering Bitcoin, right? You could still get a real good stack, and your heirs and you know, 10 years from now are going to kick yourself in the butt if you don't move now, you know. And I'm not one of those guys that's urgent, but it kind of is right now.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to talk to someone who's your age, probably doesn't act it, right? But is your age and can help you. Because I have, like Noah's lived on the Bitcoin Standard. I've done the whole boomer thing, sold my house, renting,
your retirement too, and done
on YouTube, but I can help people with the steps that they want to take down that path.
Such a great point. And I feel like that, even if you can get into an ETF, I would prefer, if I was talking to somebody, I would say use something like River instead, where you could just hold Bitcoin on there, because then you don't have to sell it in the future and incur that capital gain or whatever that is to get real Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You can just take it off the exchange.
Fiat money on River and get a Bitcoin interest. So there's a lot of things. And, you and I have both dabbled in a lot of different things. My thing is, you're a millennial. I'm a boomer. So the boomer people, if you're someone who wants to be more sovereign and who wants to go down the Bitcoin, path, and you want someone who's a peer of yours age-wise, that would be a good spot.
Daniel's your guy.
Hey man, I got to jump.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. Awesome chat today. Again, I said the same thing to Craig, Alex, Noah. I want to be having these conversations more often on the show here, so hopefully you'll be back at some point.
Yeah, anytime you want me, man.
Cool. Okay, so I'll have the links for Daniel's link, his NPub, everything in the comments. I'm going to keep the stream going here, Daniel, but appreciate you coming on today.
Take care, man.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, what a time, eh, Arn? What a time. Frickin' Arnie. Okay, well, I see that our stream cut off here of Zapstream, so I'm going to try to... I got about half an hour still, and we've done all interviews this week. So I think I'm going to spend this last half hour just hanging out, talking about a couple different things, and getting through some comments here and just discussing them. So I got to go get my other laptop, because that's how I have to fund my Zapstream account to get us back onto Nostr. So I'll be back in like 10 seconds here. Time. What was that? 15 seconds. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say before I get too far, Arnie, before I get too far down the road here, is Daniel had a great point about baby boomers looking for, geez, Louise. Watching the Blue Jays game there 2 nights ago, and it's still freaking playing there somehow. Okay, Zapstream. But the other thing I wanted to say about Daniel is I do think that that's a great idea for any baby boomers out there. I think that Daniel would just be a great guy to talk to about the journey that he's been through in terms of his house, like you mentioned, his retirement account that he switched over to Bitcoin. He's done it all. He got the T-shirt, as he says. So I think that that's a great step, and you can do it. The nice thing about Bitcoin Citadel is we have this thing called value for value, which means that you don't have to pay a bunch up front. You don't have to buy 10 hours with Bitcoin Citadel to get a phone call with us. You can set up a 15-minute call, 30-minute call, and you can pay us whatever you feel is worth to you. So when I do these calls, it ranges from a little bit less than my value to 10x my value sometimes. So there's good and bad, but I think it levels out. But for the actual user, I think it makes way more sense. It gets rid of all buyer's regret. It removes all friction from the equation. It's just have a conversation, and then you can send whatever it was worth to you. It's a wild concept that not a whole lot of people understand or are utilizing properly. So definitely set up a call with Daniel. The other thing I was going to say there, though, was that Daniel is very knowledgeable in technical side of things. Whether you're trying to set up a Linux, whether you're trying to set up a node for the first time, when I set up my Start9, Daniel was the guy that I called to help me with it. So again, just set up a call with Daniel, see, explain what your issue is and see if he can help. And if Daniel can't help, I guarantee you he's going to find somebody within the Bitcoin Citadel team that can. So highly suggest chatting to Daniel there. 0 sats. Okay, let's top this up and see what happens. A couple of other things too that I did want to mention today is we got our Maple Bitcoin stream in 3 hours from now, our Maple Bitcoin Friday. All right, I'm just about done here. I just want to get up back on Nostr because Nostr is our new meeting spot. And so it doesn't really make sense for us to be doing this without Nostr. It's our new headquarters. Kind of love that, actually. Not sent. I was waiting for the speed thing there, but my volume was down. Okay, so that's done. Now let's try editing that. Removing it, remove zaps. Okay, and then add zaps. This should work. So I apologize to anybody who Nostr cut off for there, but it should be back now. Just give me a second. I got to get through some zaps here too. So we got a couple people over in Zapstream before we cut off. We had Samantha. We had Letha, we had Fletcher, Plunger zapped 1,000 sats, Samantha zapped 111, Duncan zapped 2.5 thousand, 2,500 for DCA. Letha zapped 5K. Wow, thank you, Letha. Samantha zapped 11 sats and said, Rob Braxman is a top-tier privacy tech professional. Sorry, emptying the wallet, got to add more sats. No problem, Samantha. So Rob Braxman, that's who Daniel was talking about there. Rob Braxman. I'll put that in the chat. I'll put the chat just so everybody has it because Rob Brax, I think, well, that's how Samantha spelled it anyways. Rob Braxman. Yep. I'll put it in Rumble too. Actually, I'll just bring it up on screen here. Okay, wow, that was a good chat. That was a great chat with Daniel. Love that guy. Like I said, that's who I spent my inaugural Vegas conference with. We had Daniel, we had Jerry as our chauffeur. Daniel is my roommate. Got to meet Rajat for the first time. Got to meet Craig, which was awesome. Duncan was there, or not Duncan, Adam and Lori were there. Laughpad, Kev, who am I missing here? AD, Bodie. What a great time. Got to meet Robin Sayer there. I can't wait. That's in April. That's not even that far away for the next one. Rob Braxman. Okay. What else did we have here? We got Noah zapped 4,200 sats. Wow, Noah. Thank you. Said, hi, Jor. Hi, Daniel. Great rip. Yeah, those were some top tier discussions this week. Starting with Craig, then with Alex talking about Graphene OX and some other interesting stuff that I learned a ton from that conversation. Noah living on the Bitcoin standard. Daniel becoming more sovereign. What a perfect week. My God. Perfect week. Duncan also zapped 2,000 sats and said, love this shit. Thank you, Duncan. And Josh with a Josh zap of 8,888 sats. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh. I got to add a point for Josh. And Florian said also got to sell some more stuff. And then Theus said, great seeing here from Primal. So are we back on Nostr? Yes, we are. It worked. All right, there we go. Okay. I just saw a comment here at the bottom there. Paulie, also got to meet Paulie and got to meet Bill was there too. Paul, Bill, a couple other people that came up and shook my hand. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool experience. Okay, so where do we leave off here before? VHF said, I just sent you an email regards to the hoodie. All right, thank you, VHF. Am I a chartered accountant by trade? Yes. I'm retired now. I'm a retired accountant. I did retire my letters, though. That's why I call myself that. Yes, good call from Ian here. Hit the like button, especially if you're over on the Rumbles. It really helps. It really helps. The Rumbles or the rants over there really help, but also so do likes. I'm glad you're getting off YouTube. You shouldn't have to rely on them. They banned separately simply at one point, and Luke McKick with no warning because they're both pro Bitcoin accounts. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Better to get ahead of the curve. Yeah, that's kind of my thinking there, is like, it's going to be pretty painful for a while. It's going to be noticeable in my life. It's going to be noticeable. And that's a shitty thing. And that's, kind of my path so far has been doing a lot and getting nothing at all. Nothing. And then I was doing just as much and getting a little bit. And then I was doing the same amount, maybe a little bit more, and actually being able to live, pay for my mortgage, my food, my, a little bit of fun here and there. And then I decided, okay, well, we're going back to being uncomfortable here for a while. So it is going to be a lot of pain, I think, for me short term, but long term, I think it is going to be the right decision. That's what I'm telling myself anyways. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like for me, again, kind of going back to what I was saying there, based on that curve, based on that trend, heading into a bull run here, the easiest thing for me to do would have just been, the standard. Just keep doing what I'm doing. YouTube, doing a daily show. We would have kept going up. That was the easy route. But whenever you're going down the easy road, I think you just always need to stop and self-reflect and say, it's easy, but is it the best decision? Because usually when things are easy, then you're not doing the right stuff. So there's a quote that I had on my Nostr page for a very long time. And it was before VHF's, whatever he called me there. What was it now? Pro Bitcoin, radical Bitcoin enthusiast. Yeah. But the quote that I had on there before was comfort causes the spirit to die, which means that whenever things are easy, whenever you're comfortable, your spirit, your energy is slowly just deteriorating. So you got to make yourself uncomfortable. Cannon, good morning. Mikhail says, Grand, they both got unbanned after a week. But it's best not to put yourself in a position like that if you don't have to. Exactly. Bad Gal B's here. Good morning, Bad Gal B. Andrew says, loving the interviews. All right. Well, we're going to do more of them on the channel here. Daniel, not sure if you came across this on the algorithm, but found Betirement on YouTube and talks about Bitcoin retirement. I did see that. Jerry showed it the other day. Scotty says, is this the right place to be me? Yes, it is. I figured there'd be some people who turned off Tate there, but that's okay. We have a pretty good filter on this channel. We have no sissies around here. Top G, that's right. Mikkel says, we live in a society where trust is hypostasized. People think they don't have any other choice than to trust the governments or the banks with your wealth purchasing power. This is why we need Bitcoin. No trust needed. Boom. Sounds like Andrew has been watching Mahler's videos. Yeah, true. Or Mahler's have been watching Andrew's videos. Tate has oodles of Bitcoin. Yes. Been a spokesperson for a long time about holding. True. True. Bad Gal B, straight to jail over giving up your Bitcoin. Yes. Jor, if you don't know the word hypostasized, please look it up for the chat. This word will change lives and how people think. Question everything. All right. I take your word. Cypher says, zapped you on Rizful. Tons of value provided this week. Thank you, Cypher. I'm a little ahead of the chat here. I see Rumble there. I'm just going to open up the Rizful. I should open up Arnie's wallet too. We got that QR code up there, and I've been missing zaps. All right, what do we got here? Is it the 10th of October today? It is. Wow. October 10th, 10 o'clock, 10 minutes right now. The 10th month, the 10th day, the 10th hour, and the 10th minute right now. That's crazy. We had a couple zaps of 100. We had one zap of 1 sat. I'm guessing that was Jen. Maybe not, though. There was somebody who zapped the sat yesterday, too, and I don't think it was Jen. But shout out, Jen, if you're listening to this right now. Jen sent a big fat zap into this channel earlier this week. It is Fat Zap Friday, though. 88 sats somebody sent in. 747 from Cedar Sats. Said new 747 zap just landed in Arnie's wallet. Cedar Sats. Love that. Thank you, Cedar. And somebody sent 5,000. Said greetings from Cyprus. Arnie, you got some zaps today, buddy. Say thank you. Arnie, you got some zaps. Zap, do you want your financial report? Maybe we'll go over your financials today. He's really interested in that. He loves talking financials. All right, what's his word here? Let's ask Perplexity. Could you explain the meaning of the word hypoth? Am I even saying it right? Hypostatization. All right, let's check this out. It's from Mikkel. We're only doing this, Mikkel, because you started a new job. We wouldn't be doing this, and you're on Rumble. We wouldn't be doing this for the average Joe out there. Okay. So Mikkel says this word is going to change our lives. Let's see if we agree. Hypostatization. I'm going to use that. I don't know if that's being pronounced right, but that's what we're going to go with. Hypostatization is the act of treating something abstract, such as an idea, concept, or category, as though it were real, concrete object or entity with an independent existence. In philosophy, this process involves rendering a complex or subjective notion into a distinct and objective substance, often losing nuance or context in the process. For example, taking an abstraction like justice and treating it as if it exists independently like a physical thing would be an instance of hypostatization. Philosophical oh fuck, not this word again. Oh God, that was funny. I'm going to show that clip right after this, but I'm going to get this right this time. Philosophical. Oh my God. Philosophical context. Holy shit. That word is my arch nemesis. Is my Achilles heel. Philosophical. And the funny thing is that I love philosophy. Like I like more philosophy more than anything else. I don't know why. It's just like a mind bend right now for me. It's like in golf when you're playing perfect golf and then you show up to a hole where you've notoriously hit it left or right or somewhere. And it's just like your mind is a magnet towards that, doing that again. Just like an independent thing. Like I don't have issues pronouncing words, but for some reason, this one gives me trouble. Just like certain holes in golf gives somebody trouble because of the mind. Philosophers often use hypostatization to discuss errors. Are you just fucking with me here, trying to get me to say this word over and over again? To discuss errors or fallacies in reasoning. It is considered similar to reification, the mistake of construing abstract ideas as actual physical entities. Okay, so what's the everyday usage here? In daily language, hypostatization is most easily recognized when abstract terms are implied to have physical reality. This practice, while sometimes poetic or rhetorical, may lead to confusion if the abstraction is mistaken for something tangible. In summary, hypostatization means attributing concrete existence or reality to something that is properly abstract. I'm going to be honest, I still don't have a clue what that means. So fail on Perplexity there. So taking something abstract and making it real. Is that kind of the idea of like your thoughts become your life? I don't know. Mikkel, if you're still here, you might have to explain it to us. Get a System 76 computer on Linux. Hey, Noah's over here. Good morning, Noah. I've said, cool, me also completely on Linux since I have my full node. Cedar says, I like this guy. Even he knows about the dangers of being around the blue hairs. Yeah, Daniel's immune to blue hairs and blue light, as you could tell from his glasses. What is Daniel's NPub? I'll try to get it for you right now. I'm going to have it in the show notes here after, in the pinned comments and in the description for everybody, but I'll bring it up right now for the people who are here. Bureau, you're going to have to go over to Rumble, though, if you want it, my friend. And not because I'm discriminating against you. It's because I can't share it. You won't be able to copy and paste it from YouTube. Where's Daniel? A lot of Daniels on Nostr. I don't know where it is. How could I find this? Nostr dot. Is it Nostr Packs? Nostr dot. It's not Packs. What's the Nostr page where we have our pack? Nostr.world, I think. No. Nostr.ban. I'll try Nostr.ban, see what happens. Daniel. People. A lot of Daniels out there. Frick. I don't even know how to find it. Daniel, or somebody's going to have to tell me what our pack is on, if anybody remembers. Nothing yet. Maybe the Nostr chat will know. Nostr, what's the website you can go to where you have packs? Because we have a Living in the Future pack in there where Daniel's in that. Okay, shit, we got a lot of things to get through here. Checklist is a great idea, and my ADHD needs lists. Okay, well, we'll get something together like that. McConnell, great episode. Thank you. Senior Gringo Poppy. Matt says a comment. Okay, very simple. Been hodling since 2016. I'm an idiot and I know it, so I hodl. RD, is RD still here? RD, if you're still here, we'll discuss this. If you're not, then we're going to move on. I will come back to this comment if you're still here, but if you're not, then I don't really care. Joshua, there he is over on Rumble. Kev Keith says, I got a great condition old couch in my garage that's in my way right now that I need to sell. There you go. Noah says, I pasted already on YouTube. But Noah, you can't copy and paste from YouTube. And even if I showed it on the screen, nobody's going to write it down. Here, look. If anybody wants to write down Daniel's NPub, there it is. I'll leave it there for 5 seconds. We need it in Nostr or Rumble so we can copy and paste it. Smash the like. Yes, that's right. Okay, who else do we have here? Anyone try RoboSats? Yeah, that's what actually I wanted to talk about that with Daniel, RoboSats. Noah says I can add it to Rumble. Okay, I would appreciate that. Thank you, Noah. Yeah, RoboSats is great. That's where I buy some Bitcoin here and there. I can do it from my Start9. How's Start9 looking? Do we have some in stock here? Yep. So yeah, I use RoboSats directly on my own server, which is Start9 in my case. But you can get yourself one of these. Highly suggest every Bitcoiner gets one of these eventually. No rush. But if you want to run your own node, if you want to become a more sovereign individual, this is kind of the tool for it. This is one of the tools. So you can get a server peer here for $100 off right now. And you also get a free lifetime membership to Start9 support. So if you use the code 88SATS, 88 SATS, you get another $50 or $60 US off that purchase as well. And I'm not sponsored or anything by Start9. They're my favorite company in Bitcoin. By far. CoinKite would be up there, but I still lean towards more Start9. I just absolutely love everything about their company. Their vision, their mentality, their products, just top tier. You're not going to find a better company than Start9. Price my service or knowledge in Satoshis only is the plan for my business. Nice. It'll never be converted to fiat because the revenue is intended for long-term servings. Yeah, that's such a good play. If you can become so good at whatever it is that you do, and you demand people pay in Bitcoin, high quality products or services for hard money, that's such a good play. Fuddy Duddy, yeah, I had a laugh inside of I actually probably laughed on screen too, but Daniel had some wild words that I've never heard before, Fuddy Duddy being one of them. Cedar says, Daniel's a great guest, knowledgeable and interesting to listen to. Thanks for having him on, Jor. Nice. Jack Cruz, yeah, he's a big Jack guy. Very disciplined. That was kind of the key to the conversation today. Paradigm, what is the most expensive thing you are wearing? Brain wallet, Bitcoin. Brain wallets are bad. Ronnie Nuts. VHF says, you guys are trailblazers. I prefer to wait and be a pioneer after the trail is blazed. Yeah, good point. You never want to be the first through the door, because the first through the door always gets shot or stabbed. All right, what else do we have here? Scotty like Daniel's sense of humor. Yeah, he's good shit, eh? Great interview. Don't forget about Gen X, Daniel. Yeah, Gen X kind of gets lost, eh? It's like between millennials and boomers. The Gen X is, I don't know. You don't hear too much about Gen X. Duncan liked it. OXO says the government will use V30 as an excuse to take over the Bitcoin blockchain and contract BlackRock to regenerate a clean Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, it could happen. I don't know if I subscribe to that theory or not, but it's definitely possible. Nav says, when Lambo. Appreciate your insights. Thank you. Yes. I've says a thumbs up for this cute Bitcoin dog. Snoozing. He's snoozing. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping over some comments here, but ALN says, I love that approach, talking about getting rid of stuff that you don't need and selling that will create more value in the future. What a time being alive. Yes, no doubt. Could have let the camera on Lucky Jor. Let us see his exploits in real time. Who the hell knows where Lucky is right now? That guy's got he's the most interesting pet out there, I think. Honestly. He might spend his morning eating a rabbit, killing and eating a rabbit, and then come and play with Arnie for a couple hours, and then sleep for 5 hours, and then cuddle with us outside, and then just go out back in the woods and disappear for the next 12 hours. Like he'll come back every time it's time to eat. And other than that, he's his own guy, lives his own life. All right. Sorry. There's some chats going on here. I'm trying to see if there's any questions or comments or anything like that. Jory, your dog's name is very close to mine. Weird, eh? What's yours, Ernie? Oh, I got to sneeze here. Bad Gal B, awesome week. Need to refill my wallet. Jory, DCA on the way. Thank you, Bad Gal B. Oh, yeah. And I was actually looking for ciphers there too. Oh, Paulie D sent in a big zap for Fat Zap Friday today. Daily chasing sats and chipmunks for Arnie. 3,333 sats. Row of boobs. Thank you, Paulie. Great interviews this week. It's been great meeting the team. Yeah, isn't that cool? Isn't it cool how that whole thing just stemmed from a community, Bitcoin community? 7 people in there, 7 legendary people in there. All with unique skill sets, all very personable people, all on Nostr, all with the dream of becoming more sovereign and wanting to help other people become more sovereign. It's pretty cool when everybody's on the same frequency and moving in the same direction. I have such high hopes for the Bitcoin Citadel. And while I'm on that note, I want to mention this. I kind of promised a little surprise here during the episode, but I want people to take this seriously, to becoming more sovereign, to finding a community, to have people that you can learn from and collaborate with and grow with. And that's the whole point of the Visionaries community. But we also have the Bitcoin Citadel, the Bitcoin side of things. So here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share this link here. So this is for the Bitcoin Citadel. We had 3 more people join yesterday. We got 30 people in there. That 30 is probably going to turn into 100 within the next 2 weeks here, as the Living the Future and the Visionaries kind of merge with this community. but there's so much great info in there, and it's going to be an amazing place to learn, share, and collaborate with other Bitcoiners from around the world. So what I'm going to do here, just for today, this is going to be a one-time thing. Actually, I'm not even going to keep it for the full day. I'm going to say for the next 6 hours or something. I'm going to cut this off at 6 p.m. my time tonight. But this is going to be your entry into the Visionaries and the Citadel. So what you can do, again, this is only going to last for 7.5 hours. This offer. So what you can do is you can go over there. You can join the Bitcoin Citadel school community. It's a one-time fee. It's not going to be a monthly charge on your credit card. It's going to be a one-time fee of $99. Laughable. We're actually going to do the community for free. It was going to be our $1 a month, but we decided instead of doing like a recurring one, basically free, just do a one-time payment. Make people have skin in the game. Because I don't know about you, but if you've ever been in a community where it's free, it's just all spam. It's all nonsense. Nobody really cares. Nobody's got each other's backs. Everybody's pushing whatever they want to push in there. It's just chaos. Free communities are chaos. And so this $99 one-time payment, that's how you join the Citadel. But the deal is today only for the next 7.5 hours and 3 minutes, you're going to get a free lifetime membership to the Visionaries too. So that's the deal. You join today in the next 7 hours and 3 minutes, or 7.5 hours and 3 minutes. You join the Bitcoin Citadel. You're going to get free. That's going to give you lifetime access to Citadel. And I'm going to give you free lifetime access to the Visionaries community. So anybody watching this now or in the next few hours can take advantage of that. But that's it. It's going to be a hard cutoff. I'm not going to take somebody at midnight today saying, hey, Jor, I was late to the show today. I still want to join. Nope. Hard cutoff, 7.5 hours from now. If you join, sign up using that the link that I shared there. Join the Citadel. You're going to get free access to the Visionaries community, which is going to be pretty big value for what we're going to be charging for the Visionaries community. So that's my offer to you. If you want to take it, great. If not, you'll just pay more later. Okay, what else do we have here? Zaption Rizpol. Okay, this is what I was trying to look at here. I'm sure I missed a couple here. Not all of them show up in Nostr. Okay, so 23 hours ago. That's not what we want. Why are they? Okay, hold on here. What the hell's going on? Hour ago. Okay. Plunger, Daniel, a DCA 1650. Who's that from? Mark? 65 sats, usually 1650. Noah, Duncan, Josh, Cypher. There it is. 8,998 sats. The Cypher Zap. Thank you, Cypher. Appreciate that, man. Has Arnie Zap, the non-inbred, worked? Has Arnie, the non-inbred, worked up the jaw strength to pop that annoying squeaker? He has. He has. Actually, that's what I wanted to show today, too. Let me bring this up here. I noticed yesterday that he cracked it. It doesn't squeak anymore, which is good because that thing was annoying. I had to take it away from him the other day. Okay. Well, oh, no, that's not what I want. I need the drive. Where's the drive? Sign in. Proton drive. Okay, where's this video here? Bitcoin. I'm going to share a video here from Arnie Boy. So this was the story here. So Cedar Sats sent Arnie a toy in the mail. A great toy that he hasn't really left out of his sight so far in the last week since he received it. But see if we can play this here. Yeah, we can. Okay, so I'm going to share this video. I meant to share this on Tuesday, but we didn't really have time, but we got some time now. So this is the video of Arnie receiving his gift, his toy from Cedar Sats, and he was pretty pumped. What the heck is this? Oh my God, she's wrapped up good. What's this, Arnie? Wait, we got a note. What? What? Wow. Wow. What a lucky guy. What a lucky guy. There's the toy. So that's the toy from Cedar Sats. It is a Browning shotgun shell. And he claimed that it was the best toy ever made. And he's not wrong. It holds up pretty well. The squeaker is broken already, but you can tell that it's good quality. So big shout out to Cedar Sats for pretty cool. That was the first toy that Arnie's ever received in the mail. So thank you, Cedar Sats. That is pretty cool. And it got Arnie's attention there, the little squeak there. He's mad that he broke it, but it's his own fault. It's his own doing. Okay, so yes, big shout out to Duncan. OXO says, I sent you an email yesterday about ordering 2 hoodies. Yes, I got that. Thank you. I did have your name down already, but I did get it. Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough one for me. See if I can find that other video. You talk in blocks, but can't keep time. Yeah, Scotty's got some good songs on there. Hey, there's Letha. Letha's over in Rumble. Look at this. I found this today. I saw this on Primal today. I shared it, but I figured it was worth sharing today. I really like this. I really like this logo for, I don't even know what it's for. It's for Noster, obviously, but I just love the design of it. I don't know why. It's obviously based on the yin yang. What would you call it? A logo? Visual? I don't know. But yeah, I found that. I think I'm going to use that. I don't know if it's open source or not, but I'm going to steal it. Okay, let's go to see if I can find this here quickly. Oh, no way. Look at this. I accidentally clicked something here and look where it led me. Philosophy reads. Yeah, the universe is trying to get me here. So if you don't know what I'm talking about in terms of the philosophy, I'll share another quick video here. Here it is. This is actually from our 365 Days of Bitcoin course that we've been doing. I really struggled with this word. Philosophical. So it says the comparison between Bitcoin and spirituality is rooted in several philosophical. What? Philosophy. Why is that hard? I'm looking at psychological here. Philosophical. My goodness. Oh, you never know what you're going to get here. Psychological and cultural parallels that have become The words got me. The word got me. Crazy. I don't know why that's so hard to say. Uh-oh. So we got Letha shared one and Noah shared one, and they're different. There's Lethas, there's Noahs. And yes, they do appear to be different. Okay. Mikhail says, imagine the bank is a giant super safe piggy bank for the whole town. It's not a real person, but we talk about it like it is. We say, I trust the bank just like you trust mommy to keep your favorite toy safe. We give it our money because we believe that the piggy bank will keep it safe and give it back whenever we ask for it. The abstract belief is most people believe we have to trust the bank because they know no other way to store value. That is the hypostatization of trust. You think there's no other way. I got you. That's interesting. John says, well, I believe Bitcoin will stay the king, but I don't get Bitcoin's hate on XMR. Can you clarify perhaps so I can understand better? What's XMR? I don't know what XMR is. In the process of cornering the AI Bitcoin theme music market currently. You're doing a hell of a job. You're doing a hell of a job, Scotty. Lucky is a true sovereign. He is. Duncan says, I was first through the door once in Afghanistan, didn't get shot, but got attacked by a wild dog. Wow, it got shot. What? That's wild. That's wild. Once you find Bitcoin, you realize you don't have to trust your bank to store your wealth and purchasing power. But people can't see behind the bank curtain until they find Bitcoin, and it breaks the thinking pattern. You have to trust the bank or government. Same concept applies. Gotcha. Sats and Sun says, visionary members have access to Bitcoin Citadel. Yes. Actually, I'm going to send you a link to the Sats and Sunsets for that. So yeah, that's how it's going to work here going forward, which is anybody who joins the Visionaries community is going to get free access to Bitcoin Citadel. So the Visionaries community is a community-owned, community-run project we're working on now. And anybody who joins that is going to get automatic free access to the Bitcoin Citadel. But today only, we're doing the reverse, where if you join the Bitcoin Citadel school community, I'm going to give you free access to the Visionaries just for today, not even full day, because that $99 price is cheaper than the Visionaries one. So that's kind of the deal for today. I got the link. What's the Visionaries channel about? Let me explain here quickly. This is what the focus is going to be. I actually did a video for the community yesterday talking about this. How can I do this? There we go. Okay, so there's kind of three different, maybe I'll do a new one here. So let me bring this up. I'll kind of explain. This is the best way to think about it. I've come to this conclusion. So the Living in the Future community, that was the original one, LITF. Whenever you see LITF, that's what it stands for, Living the Future. So this one was kind of a bit of everything, right? It had some Bitcoin stuff. It had some Alan Watts, some Andrew Tate, whatever it may be. It was a bit of everything. Great community. It's how the Bitcoin Citadel formed. We've made a lot of great relationships and collaborations through that community. But we're now kind of being more focused. So the Visionaries community is going to focus on three things in this order. Your inner Citadel, which is your mindset, which is the most important part of this whole thing, in my opinion. Your outer Citadel, which is your physical space, your network, your friends, your family, and your economic Citadel. So these are going to be the three kind of foundations that we focus on within the Visionaries community. So everything that we talk about, everything that happens in there is going to fall under one of these three categories, either improving your inner Citadel, your outer Citadel, or your economic Citadel. So it's not going to be Bitcoin focused, but obviously with an economic Citadel, it's going to be part of the discussions. It's going to be kind of the lens that we look through everything from. And then of course, the Bitcoin Citadel community is going to be 100% focused on Bitcoin. And of course, privacy and sovereignty. I really like what Noah said about the Bitcoin. How do you spell sovereignty? Sovereignty. Noah said it. She said that it's focused on helping people become more comfortable and confident with their self-custody of Bitcoin. So that's, it started as this, and it's split off into two different things here. The Visionaries, the Bitcoin Citadel. So again, this is going to be 100% focused on Bitcoin. This is going to be more rounded, more focused on your mindset, increasing your income streams, self-improvement, that kind of stuff. Obviously, your outer citadel, your network, meeting people, and then your economic citadel, your Bitcoin stuff. So that's kind of the idea there. And again, there's not going to be any situations where you're paying for both. It's going to be, you join as a visionary, you get free access to the Bitcoin Citadel community. But people will also join the Citadel community who have no interest in the visionaries. So that's why we kind of have to keep it separate in that way. And that's why we separated it from the beginning. Cedar says, is the Bitcoin Citadel school part of my lifetime visionary subscription, or is that separate? No, that is part of it. So I'll send Cedar a link here as well. Sats and Sunsets and Cedar. That squeak is going to wake my dog up. Sorry, Scotty. Matt, good morning. XMR is Monero. Hey, Matt, I know I asked you this the other day, but do you have a link for your new book? If you want to share it, or do you want to do that next week? I forget what we talked about. But Matt has a new book. I think it's called Bitcoin Simple, Bitcoin Made Simple, something like that. Looks like a great book. Looks like a very necessary book right now based on what's happening and how many people are coming in. XMR is Monero. Isn't it interesting how more people are becoming more conscious about, more conscious and more untied due to the fact of something screwing us over? More conscious and more untied. Yeah, 100%. That's what's happening in the world right now, is like the level of consciousness is going up. Everybody's becoming more aware of everything, including themselves. And, you know, in my opinion, I think the most important part of this whole journey that we're on right now is this: the inner citadel. And so that's kind of going to be the focus within the visionaries community. I put these in order because I think that these are the most important parts of getting to sovereignty, of building an empire in your own life, for your family. It starts with your inner citadel, then you focus on the outer citadel, and then kind of the thing that's backing everything and protecting that is your economic citadel. So the whole thing kind of ties in together. It just kind of forks off, so that if somebody just wants information on Bitcoin, they can join that Bitcoin Citadel. If they want to be more rounded, increase their income streams, get the right mindset every day, that's what the visionary is going to be about. Samantha says, never been able to say the word. I'm not going to try either. I'm not going to try that. All right, let's get this off the screen. Okay, we got some action over on Zapstream here. Shani zapped 2121 sats. Thank you, Shani. All those 10 simulation. Yeah, no, that was kind of wild. That was the first time I looked at that clock, I think, this morning too. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Sharon B's over there. Good morning, Sharon B. Plural said, zap 10 sats. Sunlight is magic. Yes. Plural zapped 23 sats and said the final halving block reward is 23 sats. Enjoy. Is it really? I did not know that. Odassin said, morning, is it possible to transfer your Bidax mining sats to your Rizful account? If not, how do you proceed to collect your reward? There's a process involved, I believe, with that to get your sats sent over Lightning. Odassin also zapped 21 sats and said, nice to be around on Nostr. Thank you from West Africa. Nice. Thanks for being here. Shani says, hey, Jor, what if we already paid for lifetime to visionaries? How would that work for Citadel? Shani, you're also getting added to the list of emails today. Shani, I think I already emailed Todd. So anybody who's already a member of the Visionaries, I'll be sending you a link today for the Citadel. So do not buy membership. Matt says we are heading to a buy currency world where there will be Bitcoin and there is US dollar. Act accordingly. Conduct yourself in a manner that aligns with your values and work on your craft at becoming excellent. Yes. So for Living the Future members, join with the link today if we want access to both. Yeah, you could do that. You could do that. It'll save you a little bit. It's probably going to be, because the lifetime membership to Visionaries is going to be approximately $125 right now. So you're going to save some money. If you're going to do it, you might as well just do it today. Probably not the best idea for me, from my perspective, but it's we're going to have people in the Citadel, which is good. OXO just joined. Nice. Daniel has 2 NPubs. Okay. There you go. I have Oates and the latest one, and Letha has posted the original one. I follow both. Okay. Trying to watch on Rumble, but can't find the live feed. So you actually got to type in just 88 sats. There's 88. I gotta delete that today. That channel is gonna go. 88 sats radio gone. So there's a channel on there just called 88 sats. That's what you want to look for. I'll share the link here for you. Okay, and we got match link over on Rumble as well. That's why I like Rumble. Simple Bitcoin savings. That was kind of close. So this is Matt FRL here. He wrote a book, and he's actually, I believe this is free, right? I believe that's free. Free for a while, free for that link. I don't know, but I think what Matt wants you to do is to actually download a free copy of his book, read it, obviously, and then leave a review, because reviews are pretty powerful in the book industry. So if you got some time, read it over the weekend and leave a review for Matt there, and send him a zap. Matt, do you have your QR code or anything on the free copy where people can zap you some value for it if they like it? Trent says, just signed up for Citadel, can't resist a deal. Nice. Okay, so Trent's got again, anybody who signs up for the Citadel school today is going to get free access to the Visionaries. Wow, we had 3 people join already. Nice. Good to see. Great to see. Again, that community now has 33 people in it, and I'm guessing by the end of next week, it'll be over 100. So with these communities and stuff, you want to be there early. You want to be part of the foundation there. And that's what I said when people were joining Living the Future. I said, I guarantee the earlier you're here, the more value that you're going to get from this. And you're going to get access to things and opportunities that somebody who just joined isn't going to get. And there's going to be a certain thing within the Visionaries community. I haven't talked about it. I'm not going to talk about it yet. But you're essentially going to get to become an owner of it. Again, it's community owned. It's community run. It's going to be community run eventually. But there's going to be a certain process to get through if you can become an owner. So it's going to be perfect for Bitcoiners, because by the time it's available, it's going to be way more expensive in fiat terms. So it's pretty much going to price out the fiat market. But you can become an owner in there. But it's not something you can just join and pay for. It's something that you have to go through these certain steps and put in proof of work before you can become an owner of it. So we already have 40 owners of the Visionaries already. So again, I would say if you're thinking about it, I would join today. I wouldn't wait a month or 6 months or whatever. You're just going to fall further behind. So get in at the foundation, and it's going to present a lot of opportunities for you in the future. Ian says, I signed up for the week trial, but I'm sending sats to you today. I'll email you shortly. Okay. Thanks, Ian. Scotty's going to be in there. Nice. Scotty boy. Love that. Oh, okay. Well, I got another live stream here in 2 hours, and then I got to go into the city. So I got a big day here. I got a big day. So I think we should wrap it up. So again, I know I've spent the last couple of minutes talking about the visionaries, the Citadel, all the things that are happening here. This is going to be the last stream on YouTube, the last daily stream here at this time on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, either live or later, I'm going to put the link to the Rumble chat, the Rumble channel. I'm going to put it in the live chat right now, and I'm also going to put it in the pinned comments after. So make sure you go over there and you subscribe to the 88 Sats channel on Rumble if you want to keep showing up. This is going to be the very last stream on YouTube. I'm still going to have the channel. I'm going to be sharing more and more Bitcoin content on here, and we're going to do a weekly Q&A on YouTube. But other than that, the live streams are going to be exclusively on Rumble, Nostr, and the recorded versions are all going to be in the Visionaries School community. I keep using the wrong thumb here. So Visionaries, you're going to get access to pretty much everything. You're going to get access to the 365 days of Bitcoin course. You're going to get access to the 21-day Bitcoin kind of condensed version. There's a proof of work course. I'm going to put in the 21 lessons we did with Gigi, with Gigi's book, I should say, on there. Generational wealth course. You're going to get access to the network. All these opportunities coming in the future. So I would say it's a pretty good idea if you want to join. I would do it today. I wouldn't wait. Okay. All right. What does John say here? Not to FUD, but what if ETH had no pre-mine and stayed proof of work? Do you think it could still have a big market cap now? I mean, maybe, but there's also no sense talking about it, right? It's like a hypothetical that it'll never exist now. So it just seems like a waste of time. I do think ETH might have had a different fate if they didn't. Even if they just stuck to proof of work, forget the pre-mine aspect. I think even if they just stuck to proof of work, Ethereum would be much different in my mind anyways. Big day, undoubtedly. I don't think that's how it is. Check your rants. Oh, Sats and Sunsets, my man. I missed that. Oh, there's a couple. Wow. Sats and Sunsets said $10 rant. 10th month, 10th day, 10th hour, 10th minute, and $10. Well done. Thank you, Sats and Sunsets. That's awesome. Thank you. And Frumble sent $1. Love that. Thank you, Letha. Also sent in 5,000 sats earlier too. Okay. So that's it. Catch you later, YouTube. Thanks for everything. End of an era. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the end of an era. I guess it is. But it's also the beginning of the longer term vision here. And I was listening to, maybe I'll play that right now. What are we at here? What are we at for time? Let's play that right now. I was listening to something yesterday outside. Arnie and I and Lucky were outside for about 3 hours yesterday, pretty much soaking up the last day before winter. But I wanted to share this. There's a couple different things here. And where is this? Stick around here for about 5 minutes. Where was that now? I just got to get the timestamp on this so I don't waste any of your time. Give me a sec. $43 minutes. Okay, so there's two parts to that. Actually, I'm going to share a couple here. We're gonna go a little bit longer. I know there's people that dropped off already, so fuck them. But anyways, we'll maybe do this for another 10 minutes here. I want to play a couple different clips here because I think that this is kind of powerful in terms of understanding the importance of something like the Bitcoin Citadel, the inner Citadel, outer and economic part of it. This is the wrong video. Shit. But I know where the other one is. Do I? What? Oh, you're joking. Oh, it was on my other one. That's why. How can I get that now? My phone died, so I had to listen to that on a different YouTube account. Oh, okay. Hold on here. Okay, what can we do here? How can I do this? I got a plan. Stick with me here. Or don't. It's up to you. But this is pretty powerful stuff from Napoleon Hill that I want to share with you all. Copy. Paste. I'm getting kind of good at this stuff after having done it for repeatedly for 2 straight years. I'm getting good at navigating between links and platforms. And oh, we got a couple people joining the Citadel right now. Love to see that. I can hear it in the background. Okay, give me a sec. Still I'm getting good at it, but I'm still freaking slow. It's not easy. Not an easy thing here. Okay, so there's 2 things that I want to share. The first one's about masterminds, which I kind of mentioned earlier in the episode from when I was talking with Daniel. So where is that? That is 35 minutes. Okay, so let's watch this. This is Napoleon Hill talking about the power of masterminds in terms of like communities. The importance of having masterminds in your life. What he talks about having like 1 or 2 people, but imagine a Bitcoin focused one with hundreds of people or thousands of people in it. So here's we'll watch this for a couple minutes, then I want to go to another part of this. Okay, so that was part of it. I'm actually going to show this video in the Visionaries community as where is this here? There's another part of this too that I wanted to share. I'm not muted. Where was it? I like that this is kind of anyways, so that's the mastermind part, but there's another part here that I want to share. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like 2 or 3 hours worth of videos, kind of like an orientation for the visionaries, just to like kind of explain what we're doing and basically say, hey, if you're not interested in this, then this community is probably not for you. So it's going to be kind of like not an initiation, but it just save people a lot of time. If they don't really believe in what we're doing, then they might as well just, not join. Oh, shit. Sorry, everybody. I have the wrong screen on here. As I was just saying how good I'm getting at these things. Frick, it's been 2 hours already. The brain stops working after a certain point. Okay, well, let's try this again. Sorry, everybody. But at least it had words there. You at least could see it wasn't just a face. So let's try this. This is going to be the next part here.
Do not curse the night. March forward. Persist, endure. For beyond the desert lies promise. Beyond the night lies dawn.
This is the visionary part. This is it's kind of crazy how I've had this idea in my head for a while now about the visionaries, and then I was sitting outside listening to this yesterday, and it basically explains everything that's going to be embodied within the visionaries community, and kind of the importance of having vision.
Will you faint with the crowd, or will you persist with the conquerors? Your choice determines your destiny. The long night always ends. No storm is eternal, no desert endless, no night unbroken. But only the man who persists lives to see the sunrise. He may stumble, but he rises. He may falter, but he continues. He may grow weary, but he refuses surrender. His persistence carries him when strength fails, until at last he stands in the light of triumph. So I charge you, do not faint in your wilderness. Do not mistake delay for denial. Do not curse the night. March forward. Persist, endure. For beyond the desert lies promise. Beyond the night lies dawn. Beyond delay lies destiny. The wilderness is temporary. The reward is eternal. Persist, and you will inherit. Quit, and all you have endured will be wasted. Lesson 7. The vision beyond the pain. When a man walks through darkness, it is not his strength alone that sustains him. It is the picture he carries within his mind. Vision is the lamp that burns when all other light has gone out. Pain surrounds, enemies mock, failure presses close, yet he endures because he sees beyond the moment. Without vision, pain becomes unbearable. With vision, pain becomes the pathway to promise. Moses led a restless multitude. They saw only sand, hunger, thirst, and endless wandering. They cried for Egypt, for slavery seemed easier than freedom. Yet Moses painted before them a vision of a land flowing with milk and honey. He spoke of vineyards, cities, and homes. Though they could not see it, his vision carried them forward. It gave meaning to pain. Without that vision, they would have perished. So it is with every leader, every conqueror, every man who endures. Abraham Lincoln persisted not because his days were easy, but because he saw a united nation when others saw only division. That vision gave him strength to rise above ridicule, to endure defeat, to carry the burden of war. Without vision, his pain would have crushed him. With vision, his pain became sacred labor. Henry Ford saw cars filling the streets when others saw only horses. The world laughed. Bankers refused him. Bankruptcy mocked him. But his vision was clear. He pictured automobiles for the multitude, and that vision carried him through rejection and failure. When the pain of bankruptcy might have silenced him, his vision lifted him. He endured because he saw what others could not. Thomas Edison endured 10,000 failures. Critics jeered, experts mocked, yet his vision of light never dimmed. He saw cities glowing, darkness banished, homes illuminated. That vision kept him alive in pain. Without it, failure would have buried him. With it, failure became only a step toward the goal. Vision gave him endurance when reason said quit. Rockefeller's frail body might have yielded to poverty and weakness, yet he saw oil fueling an empire. That vision burned stronger than frailty, louder than criticism, greater than ridicule. His pain became fuel, not destruction, because vision carried him. Vision beyond pain transforms defeat into power. It is the key to persistence when everything else fails. The drifting man has no vision. He sees only his present condition. He says, I am poor, I am defeated, I am weary. And because he sees only this, he remains in it. He perishes in the night. The definite man, however, sees beyond. He says, I am poor today, but I see wealth tomorrow. I am defeated now, but I see victory ahead. And because he sees, he persists. Vision is imagination directed with purpose. It is not idle fantasy, but definite picture of your chief aim fulfilled. When you imagine vividly, your subconscious accepts it as reality. It then directs thought, action, and habit toward that vision. Infinite intelligence supplies ideas, men and means to bring it forth. Vision is not escape from reality. It is creation of reality. Moses did not merely dream vaguely of freedom. Infinite intelligence supplies ideas, men and means to bring it forth. Vision is not escape from reality. It is creation of reality.
Vision is not escape from reality. It is creation of reality. Wow. Love that. What a perfect way to end. What a perfect way to end the streams here on YouTube. Anyways, Daily Bitcoin Journey has been done for a while now. We don't need to go through this again. YouTube's done. We're going to stick around on YouTube. We're still going to share stuff on there. We're going to still have our Bitcoin focus on 88 sats, but we're growing. We're moving. We're decentralizing, and we're moving towards a common goal together. So I see a bunch of people have joined the Citadel. Great news. Gives me a little bit of work today. A little bit more work, I should say. But that's where we're going to leave it. So if you're watching on YouTube an hour later, get onto Rumble, 88 sats, join Nostr, Jor on there, and consider joining our school communities, because there's going to be a lot of good stuff in there coming in the future. So it's the end of YouTube, but it's the beginning of everything else. No more daily BJs. Yes, that's right. Nice little 2.5 hour episode. What a way to get my days off started. Nice. Thank you. See you this afternoon. That's right. Hey, Mark. Mark? That's not the Mark that I'm thinking of. 65 Sash, join the Citadel. Please send link for Visionaries. All right. So the Visionaries isn't quite ready yet, but obviously I'm going to keep track, and whoever's going to be joining today will get a free membership to that. So thank you once again, everybody. Appreciate you all. Thank you for the zaps today for this Fat Zap Friday. Make sure if you want some more Bitcoin content, you show up for Maple Bitcoin, which is starting in about an hour and a half from now. And yeah, I'm going to play a song here to round out our time together on YouTube. And it ties into the, oh, what happened here? Oh, never mind. We're going. CB Van says, you've been getting those. What? Zaps? Yeah. So let's close out. Let's close out YouTube, our time together here, with a vision of the future. We just had Napoleon Hill talking about vision. Now we're going to listen to Scotty 99's take on vision. This is going to be the new theme song of the community. Love this song. 77 people have listened to it already. Love that. Okay, so thanks, everybody. Join us today for Maple Bitcoin. If you have any questions about anything I talked about today, I know it's kind of hard to explain properly, but anyways, you can just shoot me an email. If you have any questions, I'm happy to elaborate or answer any questions that you have, because we want everybody here. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. The earlier you get in there, the better off you're going to be, the more opportunity you're going to have. And we'd love to have you in there. So again, just in case you missed it, I'm going to have the link for school in the school Citadel in the pinned comments as well. So that's it. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in a couple hours, or we'll see you on Tuesday. Oh, Arnie's going to come back to say goodbye too. I don't think we're going to do a show on Monday, but we will be live back on Rumble and Nostr. And we look forward to seeing everybody there. So thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Have yourselves an amazing weekend. Thanks for all the support and love. And I'm going to kill this fly here. It's been bothering me. Bye-bye.
There has to be a better way.
There it is.
Fighting for survival day by day. We build and bleed and hope to stay afloat. But somewhere deep inside, we know the current isn't taking us home. The screens all hum a tired tune. Numbers rise and fall like tides. They said the money's backed by faith, but faith in kings is just a lie. The weight of years we can't redeem, the paper walls of someone else's dream. We met through words across the wire, each one searching for a fire. No flags to wave, no names to boast, just drifting souls comparing ghosts. In late night chats and quiet threads, we stitched our doubts with hope instead. A spark in the static, a truth redefined. We started to see why they wanted us blind. We are the visionaries, hearts of stone and flame, carving freedom from the ruins. We'll never live the same. From shadowed screens to open skies, we'll teach the world to see through lies. We are the visionaries, and our voices will remain. We built small circles into towns where honesty could still be found. Trade by trade and word by word, our message spread, our truth was heard. No banker's hand, no master's chain, just labor's work and fairer gain. We plant these seeds in borrowed earth for children yet to find their worth. When all the false lights fade and fall, they'll walk in truth that's worth it all. We are the visionaries, unshaken and unbound. The system cracked beneath our sound. From humble hands the future grows. Through every trial the fire still glows. We are the visionaries, and the world is turning around. Now I see faces where names once were, no longer lost in the digital blur. The world we dream is breathing now. We made it real. We kept the vow.